Hamzamo familia, welcome to the Black Fire Network Africa Today show. Being on a wonderful 18th of March, the year 2021. We trust that everyone is doing okay. And I want to welcome each and every one of us that has taken the time to join us on the broadcast. I see Sister Donna, thank you so much for joining us on the show, as well as Cash God. You were saying he was a true African leader, and the global European leaders couldn't stand him. I am devastated and pissed off. I already saw news saying he had a cult. He had a cult 45. They got our brother. There are so many news going around, but nonetheless, we shall be focusing on what's factual. And this is a Black Fire Network Africa Today show. Thank you so much, Sister Nish Penda, for joining us. You're saying PubeTube is deleting already. Yeah, they are watching, and there has been a lot of censorship. And I understand. Trump was trying to break down these companies, but as it is, he did not succeed with that particular one. And he was actually suggesting on the same when they had his Twitter censored. I also see a Sister Asha Walker. Thank you so much. He's saying peace, Black Fire family. Peace to you too. And also Jim and Kondo, you're saying peace, family. Peace, Black Fire peace to you too. And also the wonderful Sister Monique Hill from California. How are you doing? You're saying greetings to you too, and also let them hang down. You're saying peace to the Black Fire family, and peace to you too. I do trust that your Thursday is coming up just fine. And of course, I think we should have started with a minute of silence, but nonetheless, we shall be getting to do that a little bit later on for the fallen leader of Tanzania, who has run the country for about 6 years. And there has been so many changes since he took over. And we can also be getting the reaction from Chato. Chato is in northern Tanzania. And this is a place where Maghufuli was born and brought up. He actually did study at Chato Primary. And we shall be sharing with us a little bit of that particular reaction. When people got the news yesterday, it was actually at around 11 p.m. Nairobi time. And the vice president, she goes by the name Suluhu. She was giving an update on what did transpire, and she did say that the president did succumb to her disease. And like I say, there are so many speculations because people did say that he was missing from the public limelight for a while, for about 2 weeks. And there have been so many things are going around about the speculation on what perhaps might have happened to the president. Right now, as it is, there isn't any power vacuum in Tanzania. Of course, some people would want to argue, some lawyers or some people might like to argue that she hasn't been sworn in as the president, and therefore there is a power gap. But I trust you me. I believe the people of Tanzania are still in safe hands under Samia Suluhu. I want to share with us a little bit of what was the reaction in the place, Chato, where he was born and raised up. And then we shall go on to a discussion a little bit on, of course, what legacy Mr. Magufuli leaves behind, having run the country for about 6 years. Nishmana says, rest in power, Maghufuli. You are with our ancestors, and also strong Armstrong. You're saying a peace family. Thank you so much for joining us as well. And even before I share this video of the response or the reaction really on what people have been doing in Tanzania, yesterday I was sharing with us another different video. Yesterday there was a funeral, but this one was for a Zulu king. You know, I believe that was a Zulu king who has run the country. I think he has been there in power for about 4 decades. Also, he has been in power for about 4 decades. He also passed on recently. But these are two different men. I would not really even like to draw parallels between them, because for the one in South Africa, I believe most of what he was doing is really, taking that particular opportunity, because he is the king of the Zulu in South Africa. I believe he was taking the opportunity really to continue or, getting the money from public coffers. Of course, his budget was coming from the national government, and we also understand the level of corruption in South Africa. We talked about him, and he was a Goodwill Zwelithini. He has a Zulu name. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce, but he was also laid to rest yesterday. We talked about him, and we cannot really draw quite a clear parallel, because they say in South Africa they do have their own leaders and they do have their own way of running affairs. But for Magufuli, I can actually say that he has been a man who has run the country with a vision of really uplifting the economy, and also like people around with sort of an ideology with his leadership. Keith, thank you so much for joining us. Say hi to the family.
Yeah. I didn't know you was even live. How long you been live? Can you hear me?
Yeah, about 10 minutes. I sent you a message earlier.
Okay. Bye.
You can say hi to the family.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? So, like I said,
I think we lost our kid once again. I was just about to say hi to the family, but I believe he also talked on it a little bit. There was some people that reached out asking what will happen in South Africa. What will happen in Tanzania. But nonetheless, we shall be discussing about the order of business right there after, things. They do have a 14 days, a 14-day of mourning. There is a 14 days of mourning, and these was to begin today. There will be 2 weeks, 2 weeks of mourning after the announcement, which was done late last night
Let me try it again. My internet's acting funny. Yeah, but like I said, listen, John Maghufuli's death is no accident. It ain't no heart disease. This man didn't have any heart disease, didn't have any history of heart disease, and everybody's around talking about his COVID. I guess that's what they're saying in Uganda, because Maria called me this morning. Oh, Keith, my 70's dead from COVID-19. I said, nah. I said, where the hell you been at anyway? You ain't contacted me in like 2 or 3 weeks. Called me in the middle of the night talking about Maghufuli's dead from COVID-19 now. So obviously that's what they're saying in Uganda. And then I ain't getting the story straight. But we said, I tried to explain, when you are a Pan-Africanist, like he said he was, he made no mistake that he was a Pan-Africanist. And he was going to, for African people and buck the white supremacist system, that was going to make you liable. That was going to make you a target on your back. I had Golden Heartspring call me. I get it with everybody Saturday and do a StreamYard. She called me. Golden Heartspring called me. Sylvia from Chicago. Oh, Keith, what's going on? Is it going to be killing in the street? Does this mean the insurgents are going to be there? I might have to cancel my flight. Insurgents might come and kill us while we're on the beach. I'm like, what? I'm like, hey, who is this? Who am I talking to? I answered and said hello, and I got all that. Oh my God, we're gonna be dead. I might cancel my trip. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm like, who is this? This is this is Sylvia. Golden Heart's friend. Oh, okay, but goddamn, tell me that first before you call me talking about are you gonna be murdered in the streets? Let me know you are first.
And
she called you militant, Golden Heart. I'm not militant like her. She's militant. If I decide to leave America, I'm gonna move to Ecuador. I said, Ecuador, you gonna move around them bunch of taco eating motherfuckers? Well, yeah, they eat tacos, but they ain't killing nobody. I don't know. These Africans all messed up. That lady is messed up in the head, Golden Heart. Hope she's not listening. That lady is anti-African. I was going to go have a good time. I never be thinking about living in no Africa. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. But no. I'm going to remove. If I live out the country, Spikes, I'm going to Ecuador. He said Ecuador on me, Golden Heart. He said Ecuador. I said, yeah, that's where a lot of coons. That's where a lot of coons go at. Well, I gotta be a coon because I don't want to die. I said, good grief. Well, I gotta be a coon because I don't want. I said, how to, and Golden Heart's too militant. She talking about that militancy shit. I'm not with that militancy. I said, why are you going on this trip? You don't like African people. Yeah, I'm gonna have a good time and shit. Make sure I don't get shot in the head while I'm over there, Like cancel my ticket or something. I'm like, who is this crazy motherfucker I'm talking to? If I leave, I'm gonna go. If I leave America, I'm gonna go to Nicaragua or Ecuador. I said, what? Go ahead, Spike.
No. Then I'm just saying I'm delighted that Mr. LB joined us. It's a echo on your end. I don't know what you can do. I don't know what you can do. Mr. LBN, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Maybe it's on my end, I guess. Thank you so much, Akith. I wanted to share with us a little bit of the reaction of the people of Tanzania on the ground, and also show us what has been happening after this particular announcement, and then we shall proceed giving us an update on what will happen. Right now, as it is, the Vice President, of course, is the next in power, and she goes by the name Suluhu, and we shall be talking a little bit about her and what to expect, of course, from these particular transition.
Let me go ahead. And be too militant. I'm not with all that militant. How you getting set up with us, lady? We black first over here. You're not going no fucking Ecuador, be around a bunch of taco eating motherfuckers. What's wrong with you? Go ahead.
Wewe natuma sana bro. Zetu walikuwa tatizo wanyonge. Ndio. Hapo bongo na huyo. Kisikia uchungu sana, nimeumia sana. Tumekuwa na kiongozi wetu, rais wetu, tunayempenda, anayetupenda watu walio chini. Sisi kifupi ni machinga. Yaani tumepata kwa masikitiko makubwa kabisa.
The problem is that we do not have the subtitles on this one, but what he's really saying is that there is a lot of grief around where he is because of the sudden announcement of this particular death. And of course, we also do have a little bit more on the same on Mr.
It's a disease. And if at all you are there to fight the disease, you must fight it seriously.
Before I share this, I should just stop and share a disclaimer on it because I do believe that there might be someone claiming on.
But hold on. You see, but look, you see, he wasn't suffering from any kind of heart damage, any kind of heart. They're gonna try to put the COVID thing out there as well, but you see, he wasn't suffering from any kind of heart. And it's funny, all the coons in Africa, they live to be 90, 100 years old. Don't never want to end up with get out of power. They're in power 30, 40 years. He gets one term. Then he starts going against the white European system that made him a threat. So I knew they would come. I said, listen, they're gonna come for him. Hopefully, I don't know if it's gonna stop. There's too many NGOs in African countries. You got too many non-governmental auspices in African countries. That means it's full of CIA agents, Mossad, and MI6, the British, and whatever the French call the intelligence. So you got agents running around Africa. That's why when you go into Congo, you see nothing but UN cars in the Congo. You're like, what? Why are these UN cars in there? Because they're there to steal. That's why. So they couldn't really threaten Tanzania with sanctions because it's too. You can't really do nothing Tanzania because it can sustain itself from any kind of economic sanction. So they need to kill his ass and try to put a puppet in there. So we'll see what's coming. You got the puppet over in Belgium talking crazy. You got the nuts in Kenya. He's in a Kenyan hospital. Why the hell would he go to a Kenyan hospital? Your system's no better than theirs. What are you talking about? But that's how you know it was already, they're already setting up the fruits of his murder. Because why would you have a disinformation campaign from another country? For what reason? Has nothing to do with Kenya's business at all. But Kenya is a vassal state of the Europeans, and they own the Kenyan media. So, but I said, hey, you start going against the system, they're gonna quietly remove you from power. Because without Africa, Europe is poor. Even though Africans are sadly miseducated, they don't know that without Africa, all the rest of the world is poor. The rest of the world knows it. The elite that run the world know it. So him getting out of line, it might have been a domino effect. Others say, hey man, John Maghufuli did it. Maybe I can now buck the system. This is also to murder him and also send a quiet message to other African bootlegs. Hey, don't get out of line. It's a message to you too. Message sent and message received. Go ahead, Spikes. Let me go mute myself.
Yeah, let me get a little bit of these and also get the comments from the family, because I do believe at the end of the day, people in Tanzania do stand by their leader, but most of them perhaps even might be, swayed into believing that it was COVID or something else because of the propaganda that has been put out there. But let me play this.
Wako watu ambapo wakati wa bodi wanapoamua kukaa wanaona hakuna hoteli yoyote hapa Tanzania ya kuweza kukaa wakati wa bodi, wanakwenda Ulaya kwa ajili ya bodi zao wanazokaa.
He came at the right time. He was the right man at the right time, and he has done a tremendous job in trying to deal with the corruption.
Muda wote niliochaguliwa kuwa rais sija suppress democracy, na bahati nzuri na promote democracy. Democracy lazima iwe na mipaka yake, kwa hiyo hakuna suppressions. Tunachofanya ni kulingana na katiba na maadili ya nchi yetu.
And now, of course, there are those that do get to support his work in the 6 years that he has been president. And others, of course, will go and say that, this is not the kind of a leadership that you would have voted. But I do believe he did it he did it all in the best interest of the Tanzanian people. When you talk about the heart disease, I would just like to show us, at some point he was doing some press-ups. And when you're talking about a man who is having a heart condition, or a heart disease, I know I'm not saying that you cannot have a heart disease or a heart condition. He is human. But if you look at him, this was him during a campaign period. When he was going about doing his campaign before he won for a second term in 2020, he used to do his push-ups at the podiums. He used to go down and have push-ups at the podium, just trying to, show that he's ready for the work and he's ready to get started and, be active in terms of building up the economy and uplifting the lives of other people. So if you come up and say, okay, he had a heart disease and things did not work out very, very well for him, there are so many questions to be raised, and I'm of the opinion that this really might have been a different reason for his passing on. I think he was also taken out to make sure that he does not also lead as an example of other African countries who might also be inspired by his way of daring to go against the tide. And once he did, Keith did talk on it. I believe last year, I do believe last year Keith did tell us about it. And I was saying that you might look very, very carefully and see how things particularly go, because we believe if someone is trying to go against the tide and do what's right for his people, then there are consequences. And that is why there are all these other leaders on the continent who would rather not, say anything. They might know about what is happening with the numbers, the statistics to do with the global pandemic, but they will not dare say anything. They will actually just tell people, go get vaccinations, go volunteer and queue up in the thousands or even the millions to go and get the shot, while they know that they are leading the people in the wrong direction. I see Bomi Namfa using they also took out the Burundian president last year. He was very, very close to what has happened with Maghufuli, because they also say that he did have a heart attack. But people who are there and who are in the close circles of that particular man, they say he didn't have any problems like that. He never had any heart disease or heart attacks. That is according to Burundi president. Burundi is also a neighboring country to Tanzania, and we also do have Rwanda. Rwanda and Burundi actually seem, if you look at the map of East Africa, you would actually think that these two particular countries are, are inside Tanzania. They are very, very tiny. And I do believe there is also the questions of the allegiance of the leaders who run this particular country to whatever kind of Western powers, or what the Western the allegiance they do have to the Western nations, to Europe. For example, with Burundi, of course, the president right there was known as Nkurunziza. I do believe Nkurunziza was taken out perhaps maybe because you're not playing ball with some when it comes to some matters. For him, I think he was also, how can I call it? Burundi was led by a man who felt that he was chosen by God. I think he also had his mind messed up. He was saying, he was chosen by God, and he wanted to run that particular country, Burundi, for a very, very long time. But nonetheless, this is now different. And in Tanzania, people are mourning. They will have 14 days. And there is also another individual who is a prime minister. I do believe that I do have. I'm thinking, according to my thinking, of course, I have also been talking to some friends. They do say that in Tanzania, the president had a very, very strong belief in in the prime minister and the work of the prime minister. So I do believe that even if the CCM was to conduct perhaps an election, or there was to be a shakeup in the government, I do believe at the end of the day, perhaps we might not have Suluhu being in control of the country for a very, very long time. The man that might come in next might actually be a man known by the name Kasim. And he is known as Kasim Majaliwa, who is the prime minister of Tanzania. And he is a man who is entrusted by the president. He was entrusted by the former president, Mr. John Kapombe Maghufuli, to run the country with integrity. So I think at the end of the day, perhaps they might try and move the CCM, because it's known as the Chama cha Mapinduzi. That is the main party or the main political power in Tanzania, which has been in power since Julius Nyerere. It was the same party that of Julius Nyerere, who was the first president of Tanzania, or the founding father of Tanzania. And this is a man I am talking about, Mr. Kasim, and he might also be taking over, because he was a man who was entrusted with the work that Mr. John Magufuli was doing. And he is, of course, perhaps going to take over. I do believe maybe perhaps he's going to take over. At the moment, I believe there is not a power vacuum. I do believe there is not a power vacuum in that particular country, and the party does run matters. And like you said, it's the same party that has been in power since independence. And this was the party of the first president, Mr. Julius Nyerere, who was of course also with the same ideology, trying to uplift the lives, or trying to better the lives of the Tanzanian people, and also trying to minimize the inequality gap. In other different places, if you compare like South Africa, or if you compare like Kenya, it's a capitalist kind of a society. I'm not saying that Tanzania is a fully socialist, but I'm just saying that they did have a kind of an ideology where there was an effort really to try and minimize the inequality gap between the haves and the have-nots. Another thing that the president will be actually being remembered for is his stance on corruption, because he did, give an ultimatum to these particular individuals that were involved in looting some of the companies. And over his tenure, the 6 years that he has been running this particular country, it means that there has been a reduced level of corruption. If you go to different institutions in Tanzania, you will happen to realize that these particular institutions, they have zero tolerance for corruption, which is unlike maybe in places like Nigeria, or places like Kenya, or places like South Africa. If you do go to Tanzania, you will also find there is a big sense of what can I call it, a patriotic sense. The people are very, very patriotic, in the sense that they want to see themselves as one Tanzanian people, as opposed to seeing themselves as different small tribal groups. In other different countries, for example, comes Kenya, we do have 47 tribes. Most of the times when it gets to the election, the campaigning period, the leaders do use this particular division with the tribal, with the tribes, to make sure that they are pitting one tribe against the other for their own personal agenda. But in Tanzania, you will not find people saying that, this is from our tribe, or this is a person is from a tribe, so we cannot help them out in this particular kind of a way, or this is a person who does not, we do not want this particular kind of a tribe in power. That really does not happen, because after independence, the goal of the very first founding father of Tanzania, or the first president, Julius Nyerere, his work was really to unite the people, and of course have them understand that we are fighting against vices such as corruption and poverty and things like that, not fighting against these other tribe or these other tribe, and also give them a strong sense of nationalism. And also the people of Tanzania are really proud. If you would like to know, the kind of a thinking that people do have on in a different country, to some extent, you can rely on what is said on different mediums by these particular individuals. For example, when we were in Tanzania last year around March, I was trying and checking the trends, because if you go to Tanzania, you can just set on for example, on your Twitter. I could actually just set on my Twitter. And I was comparing what is trending in Kenya and what is trending in Tanzania. and it can give you a little bit of a slight idea, not the whole picture, but it can give you a little bit of a slight idea what people do get to value, because what people do get to value is what they do talk mostly on, and what people do value is what they spend a lot of their time, deliberating on. And therefore, if you go onto like the Twitter platforms and I look at what was the main discussion around that time we were in Tanzania, these were national matters of a national, they were patriotic matters. But if you come and look what is trending, perhaps in South Africa, or perhaps what is trending in Nigeria, or perhaps what is trending in Kenya, you will know where the heart of the people lie. It would paint at least a little bit of a slight picture, and you would know this is where the interest of these individuals lie. And you might actually have an idea if these people are actually just focused on tribalism, or these people are actually focused on development. Nonetheless, let me share this video as well. It also has a little bit on what the kind of a man that Mr. John Kapombe Maghufuli was, so they can be able to have a little bit of understanding. I believe all these kids had already said it earlier. People say just watch and see what will happen if any of the African leaders trying to, to go off what has been put. There will be consequences. I think this is what has happened with this particular president of Tanzania. It was been made an example of, and they have actually said, oh, you did have a heart disease or something, but something else is happening. But nonetheless, like I said, there are 14 days of national mourning. There are 14 days of national mourning from today, and therefore I do believe that will come into conclusion at around today is the 18th. So in early April, they would have concluded, and of course, I believe by then, Parliament and other bodies would have actually made a way forward on what will happen. But the Tanzanian people are really a peaceful people. You will find a few elements. I do believe, for example, the opposition leader who is trying to spark some sort of hatred or spark some sort of ideologies that might have people thinking different. But nonetheless, they have been a very, very peaceful people. In Tanzania, you will not hear of, people fighting, tribes fighting against other tribes, or people looting because they want to go and protest and things like that. The people of Tanzania are known to be very, very peaceful, and this is no different. Whomever was calling and saying, no, people will be shooting, they will be shooting the beaches, and that doesn't happen anywhere in Tanzania. But nonetheless, let me share with us a little bit of this so that you can get an understanding of the kind of a man that this was. And of course, he was a religious man. He was a religious man who did attend Sunday service. And of course, when he did not attend service, people were actually worried and asking, where did this man go to? I think he was a Catholic. But nonetheless, let me share a little bit of this so you can get a little bit of understanding on the same.
The last time John Pombe Magufuli was seen in public, he was carrying out official duties and not wearing a mask. Not long into his second term in office, he suddenly vanished from public sight. After 3 weeks of speculation came the announcement from Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan on state television.
Kwa masikitiko makubwa, we lost our leader, President of the Republic of Tanzania, the Honorable Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, who parted this life from heart complications in hospital in Dar es Salaam.
Rumors had been swirling that Magufuli had sought treatment for COVID-19, largely fed by opposition leader Tundu Lissu and Kenyan media. The government denied the reports and arrested at least 4 people who'd speculated about his health on social media.
In all this government, no one wears a mask, including me. It proves that there is no coronavirus, and God loves this nation.
President Magufuli was more than a coronavirus skeptic. His government stopped sharing data with the World Health Organization last year and declared Tanzania COVID-free through divine intervention. The official tally still stands at 509 cases and 21 deaths all these months later. He displayed a disregard for health advice, focusing on prayer and local remedies, while also claiming the vaccines were dangerous. This drew condemnation from the WHO and the Roman Catholic Church.
The WHO, of course, and the Roman Catholic will actually just come out and say the money is really not after the interests of his own people. But it's very, very important because what was happening is that he did question some of the results of the tests that were conducted. And almost all the results were actually coming out positive, while some of the samples were not even legit. They were taken from different sources. And therefore, if you look at it, there are some things that are play, but one of the things I would like to assure the people is that Tanzania is really a safe place, and I do believe that I'm still looking forward to going. People might say, oh, Maghufuli did die from this and that. But nonetheless, I do believe there are some questions to be asked. You have to do critical thinking for your own self at the end of the day. And once you do, you will be able to see that things are not really completely adding up when it comes to demise, when they say that was a heart condition. But nonetheless, I will, a little bit, we shall also continue with the tribute of that particular one, and I also share with us some of the memories that have been shared by other different people regarding who the kind of a man that Maghufuli was. But before then, I would just like to share, of course, something different, and what has been happening, I believe, to do with Biden trying to make things a little bit easier for the people. But they have actually said that he has overstepped. These attorneys are from 21 different states. Yesterday, they say that he has, Joe Biden has, the President Biden has actually overstepped his authority because of the cancellation of the controversial Keystone XL oil pipeline from Canada. And of course, he did revoke the permit on day one when he got into power. And these different attorneys are from 21 different states have been claiming that he did overstep his mandate, and therefore that is why they want to sue or overturn the president's cancellation of this particular Keystone XL oil pipeline from Canada. And apart from that, there of course has been different claims that the Russians were involved with the elections. All these claims are normally not really, they are unfounded. They're actually saying that the Russians have been involved in trying to make sure that Trump was getting in power. And of course, what did happen is that there was some exchange of words by Putin, who of course was saying that it takes one killer. It takes a killer to know another killer, when Biden actually say that Putin is a killer. And of course, there has been this exchange of words. And like I said, there has also been that particular kind of a notion that Russia has also interfered even with the last elections. But if you look at the kind of a proof, if you ask people to substantiate this kind of an information, there isn't really any proof to actually show there was any kind of interference with the election in the USA last year. Keith, are you back with us? I think you're back with us. I was talking about what has been happening.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know my last. You were talking about what now?
No, I was talking about the cancellation. The Keystone XL pipeline. Right now, there has been attorney generals from 21 states who did decide to sue for the overturning of the president's cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline, XL oil pipeline from Canada. They are saying that he did overstep his authority in cancelling that particular one, and therefore they want that particular cancellation removed that he did sign when he got into power. When he was talking about the 100 days, he did cancel that particular pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline. And now these attorneys from the 21 states have demanded, they are asking, for the overturning of that particular permit, the revoking of that particular permit for the Keystone pipeline, which he did in the first day. And nonetheless, going back to the matter of what has been happening in Tanzania, I want to share with us one more video that really also shows us the kind of man that.
Go ahead.
And now I want to share with us one more video of what has been happening with the country as it mourns in 14 days of mourning that has been declared right there in Tanzania. Let me share these as well.
Mtazamaji wa Mwananchi Digital, nyuma yangu ni daraja la Kijazi ambapo Februari 26 Rais wa Tanzania Dr. John Pombe Magufuli alikuwa maeneo haya kuzindua mradi huu, lakini jana Machi 17 Makamu wa Rais wa Tanzania Samia Suluhu ametangaza kuondokewa kwa kiongozi huyu wa Tanzania Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. Lakini hapa tuko maeneo ya
Well, to speak on this story that's developing out of Tanzania and other related matters this lunchtime, we're joined by Advocate Sipho Mandula from UNISA's Thabo Mbeki African School on Public and International Affairs. Advocate, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here this lunchtime. Firstly, when we speak about Tanzania, and as the president was saying there, the role of that country in the fight against apartheid cannot be ignored. But there's been some interesting developments as well following the death of President Maghufuli yesterday. The announcement that Tanzania's vice president is going to assume the role of the presidency. He might be sworn in today. That's Samia Suluhu Hassan. How significant is this?
Significance, Jumbo, for Africa, Africa into the viewers across Africa. I think what is critical, understanding significance of Tanzania under the then Julius Kabarange Nyerere in the early 1960s in terms of the formation of the Organization of African Unity, setting up of OAU Liberation Committee, assisting South African liberation movements. But you look at the role of Tanzania in the past year of COVID-19. Tanzania was the chair of SADC. Tanzania has been instrumental as well in the region in terms of peace and conflict resolution. Now, with the significance of now having a first African female president in Tanzania, their own constitution allows that the vice president automatically becomes the acting or the caretaker president. Another important aspect about Tanzania, it is through their leaders like Benjamin Wakamukapa, who have passed on last year as well, Jakaya Waka Kikwete. So one can see that the role of Tanzania has been very broad in the frontline states, in the Organization of African Unity, bilateral between us and Tanzania. We'll remember the APLA camps, the MK, your Solomon Khalushu Wakamashangu, they were all based in Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, Morogoro, as well as Dodoma.
Yeah. Now, President Magufuli, when you speak about his legacy, some people will point out that there's a lot of contradiction. Yes, he fought against corruption, but in the past year, around the coronavirus pandemic, he took some very questionable positions.
Definitely, he did take a tough stance. Others, they call him a denialist of COVID-19, as he was not even calling it coronavirus. One will understand that his ascendance to the politics began 26 years ago when he was the first member of parliament. Ascending again into the cabinet 21 years ago, those were the early years of John Pombe Magufuli. And if one looks critically on the health issues that affected Tanzania with this COVID-19, I think one has to look broadly on his views. And at the same time, having lost first the vice president in Zanzibar, those were the signs. And again, we saw the issue of his whereabouts being questioned by opposition parties. Again, that has caused another mixed legacy or a mixed contradiction on his legacy contribution. As you have earlier said, he was a bulldozer, as that was the name he was given in 2015, when he was the first president who was questioning issues of public service, irregular expenditure on wasteful expenditure on national days.
Okay.
So if one look at his legacy, it's a very complex one.
Okay, now from Tanzania, let's just go south to their neighbor Mozambique very briefly while I have you advocate before we finish. About 8 days ago, American State Department, US State.
That is, of course, a little bit of someone giving their view on what was happening in Maghufuli. There are so many people that have, different views, but I do believe even if you go into Tanzania, the Tanzanian people also do know how to stay on code. You will not find people actually going and talking about, there is some sense of nationalism, you might call it so, and people are very, very patriotic. And even when it comes to the last kind of an election, there was 84%. He actually won by 84%. And of course, we did have a Tundu Lissu, who is the opposition leader who lives in Belgium, saying that wasn't fair. But 84%, I think 84% is really something that shows a kind of a support. I do believe that the president did have in this particular country. And the only question to be asked, let me get the comments from the family. Golden Heart, I see your question you're asking. The only question to be asked is where was he's going to panga security when the white men came to get Maghufuli. Security should have been held accountable too. Yes, I do believe, because at the end of the day, you know, we also that he has not done international trips. You know, we have not seen Maghufuli go into these other meetings. For example, this conducted by the Chinese. Sometimes we did have the Chinese Africa Summit. We also did have the I think Germany, was it the UK? Yeah, the UK Africa Summit. And now, of course, we did have other different summits that have been around the world where we did have different leaders going on and, you know, trying to have a conversation with everyone else at the table, where we know at the table no one actually listens, because as Africa, we are divided, and therefore we do not have a particular kind of a bargaining power to go and demand what's rightfully in terms of the exchange of the value for commodities that we get to give out. But nonetheless, before we, as we continue, I want to share with us someone else, perhaps that they might also be coming for. I'm not really sure. I'm 50-50. We did have the president of Ghana. The president of Ghana also did at some point go, and he did have a presentation. Let me not call it a presentation, but he was, of course, in Europe, and this is what he had to say, because he was saying that he wants to end the exporting of cocoa, you know, from Ghana, because Ghana is one of the largest producers of cocoa, and they want to stop exporting that particular one to Switzerland. They want now to start having their own manufacturing plants or processing plants in Ghana. And of course, when that happens, we do have more African leaders saying, no, we shall not be exporting these commodities anymore. We shall not be exporting these materials anymore. What we want to do is run our own systems and employ our own people by making these particular kind of factories. We might see more of African leaders, you know, disappearing, or things happening to them in that particular kind of way. But I do believe at the end of the day, there is a cost to be paid.
For just 67.
There is a cost to be paid, and now the people of Tanzania do back and get to awaken and do get to back whichever other leader comes up, chosen by the same CCM. Let me share these with us, what the President Akufo-Addo had to say to Europe. Peace to you, General Mosquito. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. We trust you all doing well in the UK. But I was saying, if we do have more African leaders, you know, standing up and saying this is what
Ghana will no longer export cocoa to Switzerland. Switzerland has a very strong reputation as a producer of high quality chocolates in the world, and more than 57% of the raw cocoa beans used in producing these chocolates comes from Ghana alone. But now, the president of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, says Ghana will no longer export raw cocoa beans to Switzerland because there will be no future for the country Ghana if they continue to export raw minerals to other countries. Wow, it seems Africa is waking up. Without further ado, let's go and enjoy the video.
57. At the same time, today is the logical consequence of a lengthy development because relations between Switzerland and Ghana have for decades been characterized by mutual respect. Not every connection between our two countries can be deduced at first glance. Take the gold freneli, or I can translate the traditional gold coin and the chocolate coins, both products that every child here grows up with and which are considered typically Swiss. But neither would exist without gold and cocoa, which we import on a large scale from Ghana. It is quite simple. We need in both countries.
Excellency the President, and
Africa and the European Union
You think you know the story, right? Wrong.
Members of the Federal Council, I've had the privilege of visiting Switzerland several times since becoming President of the Republic of Ghana. My last visit was to Davos nearly a month ago, where I participated in the 50th anniversary meeting of the World Economic Forum. At the invitation of its founder and executive chairman, the world-renowned Professor Klaus Schwab. Happily, it is much warmer here in Bern. I thank President Simonetta Sommaruga, head of the 7-member Federal Council, for the honor of this state visit and for the opportunity to make this brief statement in the Federal Assembly, Switzerland's 2-century-old House of Parliament.
Pause that for a second.
Excellencies of the Federal.
Spikes, pause that. Whole idea that, pause that. What he's saying is complete rubbish. Idiot. We're thankful for them coming in, colonializing us, and bringing us their fucked up religion, what he just said. We're thankful for that. We're thankful for being colonized and having all our independence stolen by these Europeans. How we thank you for that? See, they love these kind of bootlicking coons like this. That's why they permeate these bootlicks all throughout Africa. No one ever goes to anybody. You never know other people but Africans. Thank you for you. When you ever hear the Chinese say they were thankful for white people colonizing them? They said that was our shame period. That's our period of shame. No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for colonializing and bringing in the false religions and teach us how to hate ourselves. Thank you for that. We surely appreciate how you stole our resources and we're here bootlicking till we're gonna take our resources back and try to create our own shit. Thank you for stealing all our resources, our chocolate. As I showed you, got a place in America called Hershey, Pennsylvania. Don't know cocoa plants grow in America, Spikes? There's a whole city in America celebrating chocolate. It's called Hershey, Pennsylvania. Whole cities in Switzerland celebrating chocolate. It ain't none in Africa where chocolate comes from.
People can't even be able to
colonize us. We really appreciate what you've done.
I'm just saying people cannot even be able to afford it because it's very expensive. The same to do with our coffee, you know. If you're looking for quality coffee, it's very expensive, and therefore even the children of the farmers or even the farmers themselves are not able to afford it. This is the same kind of a thing that is happening. I think even Ivory Coast should do the same. Ivory Coast, but the
kind of scam.
Ivory Coast should also do the same.
It only works if Ivory Coast does it. It only works if Ivory Coast does it. Ivory Coast ain't gonna do it. They're in the hands of the French. They're too scared to end up like John Maghufuli. They're in the hands of the French. So they're not gonna do it. It would work well. Exactly. That's why I never agree. I told you. I never agree with these countries. That's what kept Africa losing. These fake countries called Ghana, called Cote d'Ivoire. I don't believe in these countries. Get rid of them. Then that resource can be an African resource once again, supporting Africans. How the hell Africans gonna be poor? They're the ones growing the shit. It's only in Africa. It's the same story over and over. That's why they create all these goofy countries. You know, they're talking about. I'm glad how we got colonized by you people, and I gotta make. When somebody got a speech to say, Spike, Spike, I know I've been sending you all my shoes, and I've been walking around without no shoes and my feet all fucked up. I gotta make a speech to you, say, Spike, I'm gonna keep my shoes, and thank you for coming back stealing all my shoes, but I'm gonna keep them now.
That is a kind of
I'm gonna keep my shoes, Spike. They work better on my feet.
But let me play a little bit more on the same that you can also hear where he goes on, then says he cannot sell the Congo anymore.
Relations between our two countries date educational institutions across the country, including our first agricultural school at Akropong, my paternal hometown in the eastern region of the country. Indeed, my own late father, President of Ghana's Second Republic, who was deeply imbued with the Presbyterian attributes of discipline, industry, integrity, and thrift, was a famous product of Akropong's celebrated Salem School. They are also credited with the establishment of health facilities for the translation of the Bible from English into two of the main Ghanaian languages, and who have been accorded due honor by us. The names of inter alia Andreas Reed, ties of friendship and cooperation between our two countries.
This phony lie and enslaving our people's minds.
Financial assistance from the government, which have provided to the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, have helped it carry out its activities and achieve its vision of becoming countries in West Africa. In May 2017, our two countries signed a $2 million United States dollar.
They're going to send them a message, Spike. They say, hey, you're going too far. We might end up having to kill you. You might be going too far.
Ghana is currently Switzerland's largest trading partner in Sub-Saharan Africa. Larger from the export of gold.
All right. No more of this video. You always play the long videos nobody wants to hear. Okay, all right.
But you can see you can see the reaction.
Jesus Christ, go on and on. All right, we already here. Thank you for allowing us. They're going to give out cocoa, blah, 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 blah. You did what?
I'm just saying, if at all, African governments really want to make sure that, they ask what is due. Yeah, I believe that would be the only way. And also working together, because like we said earlier, Ivory Coast was to continue exporting it to Switzerland, and Ghana was to make their own factories. And then at least it beats the whole sense of actually asking for to stop exporting these particular ones. But nonetheless, I see good enough. You say now that is why many diasporans don't want to go to the African countries, because they sleep like Africa. And I see General Mosquito saying, I'm sure they can survive without chocolate.
What now? What your mosquito say?
Mosquito saying Switzerland says, I'm sure they can survive without chocolate. That is what is General Mosquito is saying.
They can survive, but that's a billion. They can survive, General Mosquito. But that's a multi-billion-dollar business. It ain't about them eating it. It's about them. That's an economic benefit. It's not about no eating. They sell the shit to the world. It ain't about the damn eating it. It's about controlling it. It's about the damn economics behind it. Without Africa, Europe is poor. They built schemes when they left Africa to keep Africans impoverished. All the resources in Africa, all they got to do is say, listen here, we're not going to do it. We're going to develop, but you got bullets. We're not going to sell no more of our resources. We're going to develop them here, and we're going to process them here with our own manufacturing plant. You know what that's going to be war. And good. Time for the African to get off his goddamn knees and go to war for what's his. My feet are fucked up. I'm tired of giving my shoes to spikes. I got fucked up feet. I got to be able to keep my own shoes. I can't keep giving my shoes to spikes. My feet are fucked up. I got to be able to walk on my own damn shoes. I can't keep getting my damn shoes. Go ahead, Spike.
No, I'm just saying the thing with most people is that even on the African continent, we are not doing our own critical thinking, because at the end of the day, if we were to have our own factories, then we would have more jobs for our people, and then we'll be able to minimize the levels of our poverty, because we always do say that Africa Africans are poor. Africa isn't poor. Africa isn't poor. Africa is really endowed with the resources. Talk about the gold in
exactly. Exactly.
But
Africa's not poor. African people are poor. Africa's not poor.
But that will not happen because they will not allow you to emancipate yourself and have full control over your own resources. That is why they do have happen to hear about these Ebola outbreaks every now and then in the DRC, in Liberia, in Sierra Leone. You'll also hear about these are the HIV, the AIDS pandemic. And in that particular kind of way, when your all attention is divided into trying to stay alive and running your own resources, you really will be focused mostly on trying how to try and stay alive, from these diseases, most of them that have actually been introduced. Cash God, thank you so much. I saw your comment a little bit earlier on, Cash God. We're going. There was a comment. That
I said, no, I was saying Golden Heart's gonna have a time where he got Anita's too radical. That was a friend from Chicago. Anita's too radical. I just want to go. I don't care about these niggas, these Africans. Anita's too radical. I don't want to. My God, she's talking about living there. I'm like, yeah. She's like on the phone. She's talking about living there. Oh my God, no, not around these dirty Africans. She's talking about living there. What kind of craziness is that? I'm going to Ecuador. Ecuador. Damn, you want to be around this taco eating motherfuckers for real? Oh, good luck. Good luck with that crazy bro. While y'all on the trip, boy. She gonna be. I said initiative ain't gonna be around that lady. She gonna get them mad. She gonna make them mad.
That is what might happen. But nonetheless, I want to share briefly. I want to share briefly on the matter of the transition, and I was saying that we shall have the first female president in Tanzania now that you do have the demise of the former one, Mr. Maghufuli. And this is a woman who goes by the name Samia Suluhu. She is expected to. She is now, she is according to the constitution and how the law is set up in that particular country. She will be the running the affairs of the nation. I do believe there is some sense of inclusivity, even when it comes to gender in running over the affairs of Tanzania. And we do have the vice president being a woman now ascending into power and becoming the very first female president in this country where we have never had none before. I do believe neighboring countries such as Malawi have had female presidents. We also do have Ethiopia. At some point did have the first woman president. And I believe Liberia. Those I think are 4 countries. Is it about 4? I believe 4 or 5 countries.
Yeah, but hold on, Spike. Hold on, Spike. We gotta say the president of Ethiopia is not the power. You gotta understand the powers in the prime minister with Ami Akbar. President in Ethiopia is just a figurehead. In Tanzania, it's now a real power post. There's a difference. Let's make sure we distinguish it. The president of Ethiopia is nothing but a damn symbolic figurehead. She feels she don't have no power. In that country, it's the prime minister that carries the power. So let's say what it is. Yeah, you had that woman in Liberia. She was corrupt. She was corrupt as hell. Whatever happened to her? Did they throw her in prison?
No. Her name is Salif Johnson, but they had the son. The son was involved also in embezzling her funds. The son of Salif. Her name was Salif Johnson. Her name was Salif Johnson. The president.
I think she ran her ass back to the United States or something. I don't even know if she's even in. Hold on, go ahead, Spike.
I believe she's there. However, I've seen her on a couple of interviews talking about inclusivity and also talking about the prosperity and development of that particular country. But I think she left it as corrupt as it was even when she was getting there, and things did not really change. And even as you know, right now we do have the president George, where it's still a corrupt nation, Liberia. If you look at it, there's not much. But the problem is on the African continent, they do most of the time the presidents, for example, Joyce Banda of Malawi, she did not even stay in power for so long. She was a president for a short period, and then they got rid of her. But nonetheless, I was saying earlier that the man who shall be taking over, I do believe, with this particular CCM is a prime minister. The prime minister was a man who has been entrusted with all the matters of the nation by the president, John Magufuli, and his name is Kasim. I did share with us a little bit earlier on. He is a prime minister. He goes by the name Kasim, and perhaps in the near future, we shall be hearing about maybe perhaps him taking over the helm of power. He is known as Kasim Majaliwa. This is a man that we are talking about, and therefore I'm not really worried that Tanzania will not find its footing. I believe it will. I believe Tanzania will still find its footing even after the demise of a leader who did run the country with a socialist kind of an approach, just like the first president, Mr. Julius Nyerere. And therefore, I do believe after the takeover by the current vice president, maybe perhaps we shall see a transition going to this particular individual who is the current prime minister. And he goes by the name Kasim Majaliwa. And like I said, this is a country that is run almost, I could say it's a one-party state. I will not call it one-party state because there is the element of a democracy. But I also know that a democracy is really just an idea. It's not really the reality. But this is a country that is led under the Chama cha Mapinduzi. If you go anywhere, if you're moving around, you'll find flags of this particular party, and these are green flags with a yellow writing on them, the CCM, and you shall find a lot of support even on the ground for this particular party. That is why I do believe whomever is picked to continue or to fill up to fill the shoes of the deceased president. He shall have been given these particular honors by the party itself, the CCM party. And according to a conversation I had earlier with someone from Tanzania, they perhaps do think that Mr. Kasim Majaliwa would be the one to continue with the work. And I hope that he shall also continue with the same kind of an ideology. Because I believe at the end of the day, leadership is all about ideologies and also putting these particular putting ideas into reality, and I do believe at the end of the day, if you do have the ideology of trying to balance out or trying to minimize the inequality in this particular country, reduce corruption, and make sure that everyone has an opportunity, regardless of whatever kind of a tribe that they are coming from, or regardless of whatever kind of other different factors. I do believe if you are able to give the people the opportunities to rise to the highest potential, that would be a wonderful thing. Kashkori is saying, yes, I will say saying that they set him up. I do believe that is exactly what did happen. And our kid has been talking on it even for about a year ago. If you remember correctly, we had talked about the matter of the vaccination and how Tanzania is moving about it. And I will say that he might be marked. He didn't move about as much. He did not go to the summit. He did not go to the Chinese summit, nor the German summit, the German Africa summit, nor the UK Africa summit. He has not attended most of those. What happens is that he does sometimes send some of the delegations that to go represent him. He's not the one to go out there and be involved with what everyone else is doing, even with the Russia or even with the UK or with the USA. He was a man who really kept, stayed home in his own country and did the work from the ground. And even when we were in Tanzania, there was a time he was in a place known as a Tilize. I believe it's known as a Tilize. That was in a mat, not very, very far away from where we were staying. And, he's a man of the people, and people used to turn out and go out and show their own support. And that is why I do believe many people right now will actually be commemorating him or, remembering his legacy. Let me share a little bit over some of the responses globally that have the condolences and other messages that have been sent in regards to Mr. Kapombe Magufuli. This is some of people that have actually given some of their remarks regarding the demise of this particular president. Seems like it may take a second to load that particular one. But nonetheless, there has been the president of South Africa who has said that I spoke to Her Excellency, the Vice President Hassan, this morning, and I conveyed their condolences. And of course, that was from a tweet by the South African president who said that the South African people are in grief, united in grief with the government and the people of Tanzania following the passing on of the president of Tanzania.
Shock in Tanzania as world leaders pay tribute to John Magufuli. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa conveyed his country's condolences to Tanzania over the death of President Magufuli, one of Africa's most prominent COVID-19 skeptics, died of heart failure.
I spoke to Her Excellency Vice President Hassan this morning and conveyed the condolences of the people of South Africa to the government and the people of Tanzania. Our citizens, as a country that stood with us during our struggle for freedom and sacrificed a lot, halting and delaying their own development so that we could be free.
Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni said via Twitter, quote, "I have with great sadness learned of the death of His Excellency John Pombe Magufuli. He was a pragmatic leader who believed in and worked for the economic empowerment for East Africans. We join Tanzania in mourning the passing of a great son of Africa. May his soul rest in peace," he said. Kenya's Uhuru Kenyatta also paid his respect.
On the continental stage, the late President Magufuli was a champion of Pan-Africanism. In the passing on of President Magufuli, I have lost a friend, a colleague, and a visionary ally.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson tweets, "He's sorry to hear about the death of Tanzanian President John Magufuli. My thoughts are with his loved ones and the people of Tanzania," he said. Tanzanian Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan is expected to be sworn in to succeed Magufuli and complete his second 5-year term. Hassan will be Tanzania's first female head of state.
And that is a little bit of some of the leaders that did share their message of our condolences, including the president of Kenya and also the South African leader, who I do believe also acknowledges that they are in debt with the people of Tanzania, because Tanzania has really fought hard for the South African people to gain their own independence, and that I do believe is a debt in some sort of a way. And I'm sorry if I'm just not just in the mood for bullshit at all today. That was according to the condolence that have been shared, and we all know. They might say, you know, these and that are the messages, but if you go deep down inside their hearts, you might not find that particularly to be the truth of the matter in terms of what has been happening after this particular death of the president of Tanzania. Nonetheless, I shall be getting the comments from the family, and then we shall leave it from that and go on to other different matters right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. And now, of course, as it is, we shall also be talking about what has been happening in the Sahel region and why we might not find any growth or any kind of a development happening in this particular area of Niger and also the border with Mali, because it seems like the governments have failed. It seems like the government have failed in terms of combating the matter of the Islamic militants and the insurgency in this area. Even as we talk about Mozambique, we did share yesterday about what has been happening in Mozambique, but these two countries, there are very, very many parallels between these two countries. Mozambique, of course, has not had a long history of Islamic insurgency, but right now, as it is, I do believe something needs to be done. And like I said earlier, there has been some attacks, and of course this has happened on some of the market sellers, and gunmen are killed at least 58 in the attack on Niger. And of course the market sellers or the ones have been attacked. Sometimes you do find not just market sellers, but even our farmers. You know, we have heard about farmers being attacked by gunmen. Some of them are riding on motorcycles and shooting and going on a killing spree, you know, shooting either farmers or even beheading them. And this is near the area of the border with Niger and Mali. And like I said, I do believe there has to be an intervention, of course, that is actually spearheaded by the regional powers. You know, Nigeria has been seen to be falling in its hands, and Nigeria even itself, it has not been able to sort its own internal matters of security, and therefore it might not really be possible for them to flex their muscle and show support in terms of helping the other regional counterparts combat these particular insurgencies, the Islamic insurgency and the terrorists in this particular area. But I do believe that maybe if there was a common fund that is being set, and also a common army, let me just call it a common unit or a common force that is bringing in army members from different countries, and also put it in place in terms of the machinery or the machines or the gunpower really needed to go and address this particular matter, then perhaps we might have been able to see some change coming. But as it is, we all know that these particular battles and these particular gunmen are not really funded. Most of the time, they are not really funded internally, because this is an area where people are also living in poverty, and we cannot say that people this actually has to be funded from external powers. And I believe most of the time it's coming from the Arabian countries, And when you do have people being provided with guns and others being provided with funds to go and cause this instability, the government, of course, has the role of cutting the sources of these particular funds, either coming from the Gulf, or either coming from these other different countries where we have heard about the ISIS being based at. But nonetheless, this has been an attack on 58 who were left dead by this particular attack, and these, of course, was on a market day from one of the volatile corners of Niger. We have seen our French forces in different countries such as Mali. We have also seen our French forces in Burkina Faso. And I believe if we do have all these French forces, there has to be benefiting from some. They do have an interest that they are looking after. They might be saying that they are there to make sure that they might say that they are there to make sure that they are there to preserve peace. But I believe at the end of the day, they are not there to preserve peace. They are there just to look at after their own interest and make sure that French continue having soft power, not even soft power, but power on these particular countries. And condolences as well to these particular individuals. You might hear of this case another time, and then another time. And if you're looking at an area which might not prosper unless this particular matter is sorted out, this would be in Niger and also in Mali, a place known as Central Mali, a place known as Mopti in Central Mali, where we have had these recent attacks also happening every now and then. And things are really, really not working any good in those areas. Nonetheless, I see Anish saying my bullshit meter has hit a saturation point, and all those leaders that voted now Magufuli murder, all those leader voted on Magufuli murder, all hypocrites. I agree with you. I believe that is what did happen, and it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical. They will say, "Oh, we are saddened by the demise, and we condone with the people. We condole with the people of these are the Tanzanian people." But at the end of the day, that is not what is in their heart. I believe this is just theatrics. And when you're talking about these condolences, even coming from Boris Johnson, I think Boris Johnson could also care less about what happens with that particular one. Boris Johnson also did contract the COVID, and of course there were some people saying, "Oh," especially people on the continent, who are really, the problem is with the African people on the continent, people are very, very much, interested in what is happening, for example, with France, or what is happening with British. And these are the colonizers, and very little concern about what is happening with our own our countries and what is happening in our own circles. That is the saddest part of when it comes to our thinking, even collectively. You find a lot of people interested in what is happening with the UK, the government or the people of the UK, and not very much concerned with what is happening either with the people of Niger or what is happening with our fellow Black people globally. And that has been the biggest challenge. This is a prime example of a political matter, but most of us are very ignorant to these kinds of events. What happens is that these events have happened. Land of winter. We have seen different leaders die in office under very, very mysterious circumstances. Let me call it mysterious, for lack of a better word. This is not the very first time we are hearing about these political murders. This is according to my personal opinion. I do believe that they have happened before, and especially involving foreign governments where they do feel that their interests are not being looked after by these particular individuals. If, for example, it's a friend, and that is in West Africa. Some of the time, what has happened with the French in West Africa is that there has been the coordination of coups. Of course, some of these coups, they have led to the loss of lives for many individuals. At some point, there has also been the murders of these particular individuals or these leaders in power, and then you will find that they will put in place. They will actually replace them with their own puppets, and therefore, at the end of the day, their mission is realized or their agenda is realized. But people also want to be very, very ignorant and say, "Oh, we told you, Magufuli did get the COVID or this and that." But if you look critically, there has to be a bigger picture. Why they want to get rid of him and have someone else in power. If you remember correctly, there was a demise of not the demise really, all but the removal of the president of Zimbabwe. He goes by the name Robert Mugabe. And as I understand, there was some foreign hands also involved. The Chinese are said to have been involved with that particular ouster of the president Mugabe, just to put in place someone else, because they do believe that in Zimbabwe they want to achieve this and that. At the end of the day, people have to think critically and ask ourselves that also very, very important question, because now what happens next with the individual or with the leader that comes in next? This is not a leader that has been the one that they voted for. This is someone else, and therefore it might not be her obligation. I'm not saying she will sell the people out, but I'm saying that there are some questions that people also have to ask themselves and be able to make sure that they do stand together in this particular time. You'll find some voices of dissent, people saying we should do this and that, or trying to fragment the society into different functions based on who did support Magufuli or who did not support Magufuli. But I do believe this is a time where the people of Tanzania should stand together and be united under one common leader. And they have also to look into which leader is really for the people. The other leaders have come all over Africa. We do not have any leader that can point out and say this is a leader that has looked into the matters of the people. This is a leader that is interested in what the common citizen, let me just say the common citizen, or the lower cadre of citizen is doing, or how they can be helped, or how they can actually develop their own businesses, or how they can be helped in getting jobs and things like that. I do believe at the end of the day, that is what we are lacking, leadership. And once we do have one of the leaders being hit, I think even the other leaders might be getting the message. I know these puppet leaders, even if they come out and say, oh, we condone with the people of Tanzania, I know they understand the coded message. I know they understand the coded message. There is a coded message behind this particular death, and they understand if you're not going to play ball with this particular one, then best believe that you might also be catching a heart attack or something else, as they might say, and you never know. So they might come out in the podiums and say, oh, we condone with everyone else, but that might also not, they know what it is. They have got the message, and they will now try and fast track every other order that has been given, and now try and make it seem as if they are concerned for the people, or they have anything to do with the interest of the people. But nonetheless, we shall move a little bit further from that. We will move a little bit further from that. And of course, I would like to remind us that we are still on the tour for Tanzania. We are still going, and that will be next month, on the 12th of next month. We shall be there, and we are hoping that it shall be a wonderful experience. Do not be swayed. Do not be told by anyone that they will be shooting in the beach. It hasn't never happened, and this is not going to make people, be involved in shooting anywhere. There will not be anything like that. If you look at the history of the Tanzanian people, you will happen to realize that these are very peaceful people. I have not even had of what do you call them, the protest. I have not heard about that, because the Tanzanian people are really focused really on trying to unite, and not even on and of course I do away with tribalism and other things that have set them apart. Nonetheless, I will talk about what did happen over the weekend, and this has to do with the shootings in Georgia. Yesterday we were mentioning on the same, and we say that there was an arrest that has been made, and this particular arrest has to do with the 21-year-old individual. And every other time there has been a shooting, that is when people now talk about gun laws. I think people want to be reactive every other time. People say, no, the gun laws are very, very much the gun laws are now need to be looked into, and there has to be action on the gun laws. But this is one of the calls that is coming from Obama, and Obama has said that he's calling for meaningful action on our gun laws after the Atlanta shooting that did leave 8 Asians dead. But where was he? He was in power for the period that he was in power. And this is the same kind of a thing. Politicians using every other kind of a platform to, try and gain traction on whatever the message they want to put out. But this, I believe, was a thing that perhaps he would have done when he was in power, try, make things perhaps work. But we all know he was not the man behind. He was not the one in power, really. You do have the people who do run things, even the USA. Even if you do have like Biden, we know that Biden is not the one who runs things. The A's, of course, are the faces and the people who are in real power, not just these, fakers stand on the TV and talk power. That is not real power. But nonetheless, he has said that there should be a strong action, and he was saying that even as we've battled the pandemic, we have continued to neglect the longer-lasting epidemic of gun violence in America, he said in a series of Twitter posts that he put out. And of course, the shooter's motive is not clear yet, as hasn't been understood yet. The identity of the victims underscores the alarming rise on anti-Asian violence. This is what now has become anti-Asian violence. And I was saying there will be many laws being made. If you remember very, very well, in California, they say that they want to put in place some funds to make sure that they are setting up hotlines, or they are actually helping fight against these anti-Asian violence. But how about what kind of funds have been put when we do have a violence, especially by the police on black people anywhere? And when the police do shoot on black people, nothing really is done. But nonetheless, he pushed on gun restrictions in the 2012 mass shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut, which left 26 people dead. But the measure failed by the Senate, and they said the overhauling the nation's gun laws is a priority for the Democrats and President Biden. But this is just talk. I believe it's just talk. I do not see in the near future. Gun laws are being corrected. I think people will continue doing the same, and especially it only comes up after a shooting. If there wasn't any shooting, no one will actually be talking on it. I believe he would actually have gone quiet, and till something else pops up, and then he'll talk on it, say we should have done this or should have done that, which is really a kind of an approach which is reactive instead of being proactive. And we might have more white kids either shooting up in black communities or in even these Asian communities, and then the conversation will actually rise up again, and then nothing more will be done. But we shall see how this particular case goes. We shall see how the case goes. Of course, I remember I shared with this particular one of the Spa, where we did have two separate shootings, and this is an individual. We were talking about the 21-year-old who did conduct these particular attacks that did leave 4 people dead at one particular spot, and then also that left 4 people dead to one particular spa, and then also some other 4 dead at another different spa when you opened a fire on the individuals for, as it's understood, no apparent reason, as it is being said, and the investigations will continue. And this also reminds me about the other shooting we were talking about. It also reminds me of the other shooting we were talking about, and that was last week. We talked about the shooting that did happen some years ago, I believe, with the church. And of course, that was a black church. But the story, I think, also sort of, disappeared at the end of the day. I think they were even actually more concerned about the affair or the wellness of this particular cracker who did do the shooting than they were concerned about the victims or the families of the victims that, of course, were murdered in that other particular incident. But this, of course, was from Cherokee Sheriff Office. There was a suspect in a multiple shooting, HWY, 92 near Bells Ferry Road. If anyone recognizes the suspect, of course, they did capture him a little bit later on. But you also have to ask yourself, if he was about doing the killing and running, I think he wanted to be arrested. I think he wanted to be arrested. I don't know, because he did not even run. He did not even get as far. You might have had him be in search for days, but they got him. I think he wasn't even interested in running away. But you might hear of people saying that he needs to be defended, especially with white supremacists will actually come out there and say, oh, these Asians have taken up the jobs, or these Asians have done this and this, and then we need to defend our own people and our own nation, in their own supremacists are staying on court kind of a style. And then at the end of the day, not much really will happen with that particular one. But nonetheless, I see that idiotic prime minister of ours was born in New York, I heard. That is him, and you could see him condoling with a fake tweet. These days, Twitter is taken as official communication mode. You might actually put out a tweet, and it's taken now that he is the official communication mode. But the matter is eliminated. The mother has eliminated all opposition of the international bankers' plan for the content. Yes, it has, and he was the only one, raising his head and standing firm on his word. You remember, with this particular president, he did actually revoke some Chinese contracts. there were some individuals in government who had decided that they want to do some unscrupulous deals with the Chinese. And when Maghufuli realized of what was happening, and especially that was to do with the construction of the port in Tanzania. So what did happen is really that he did revoke all these contracts with the Chinese, and he said that they have to go back to the drawing board and make sure that these particular contracts being signed are in the best interest of the Tanzanian people. He doesn't care whether the contract is going to take longer, or he doesn't care whether they will have to take a longer time to be drafted, but it has to reflect the best interest of the Tanzanian people, which is not something that happens with other African leaders. If you go to a country like Zambia, Zambia has the largest, Zambia? Zambia has the largest Chinese debt, and then we do have Angola, and also we do have Ethiopia, and I believe also Kenya comes in as number 4, then followed by other countries, I believe also the DRC. But in all these other different countries where the deals are actually being made, and there are contracts that are being drafted for example, for the expansion of a railway line, or for example, for the construction of a port, or maybe for the construction of these another big project, what happens really is that all the terms are actually in the best favor of these the Chinese, the Asians. They will come up and say, we will be financing part of this particular project, and we shall do this particular one on a loan, and then this loan has to be paid in a period of these particular years, and it has to accrue this particular kind of an interest, which is really not, it is not helping people. It doesn't have a lot of economic importance. You'd rather have just a white elephant project, which is not helping people, for countries such as Ethiopia and Zambia, or even countries such as Kenya, or even Ghana, where we do have all these other different countries, being rocked in the debt by the Chinese. But if we did have a president, if you have like 4 presidents, I believe we did have about 4 presidents who are the likes of John Kapome Maghufuli, people who stand up and say this contract, we would just not have it. It's going to waste our time, and also going to waste us as a people. We will not have it. We will not have even these particular times where we do have to accrue all these debts with the Chinese. Then we would have a kind of a turnaround. We would have a kind of a turnaround in the future of the African continent. But as it is right now, I think we are done. I think we are done, unless now people happen to realize and wake up in Tanzania as well, and also back up another individual who will also inspire the same perhaps in other different countries. But like I said, they have already gotten the code. This was a coded message. This was a coded message, and like you said earlier, this of course was a man who has been taken out because of his stance on different matters, especially with the globalist agenda of the vaccinations and the population control. For him, he said he does want to encourage people, to have more children, and increase the numbers of the citizens, the citizenry of the population in Tanzania. And then he also told them not to go along with this whole notion of the vaccination, and therefore you are bold and are saying these things on a global stage, while everyone else on the continent, the 53 countries, are busy trying to have everyone in our chaos of getting a vaccine. Then someone is coming for you. And we did say earlier on, right here on the Black Hot Finance Talk, that is one of the African leaders really that was an independent thinker. And right now, what you do have is other people, the puppets, trying to carry out the orders that will be given right after this particular one. Nishmina, thank you so much. You're saying, I hope Obama needs to shut the fuck up. Yes, exactly. I agree with you. We'll be talking about gun laws every other time people have been murdered. But if there is no one getting shot, maybe within the month, he will not talk about it. But he has been saying, now people need to rethink on it. We need to go back to fighting the pandemic of gun violence. But we know that is not going to happen at the end of the day. We also talked about the recent incident of the shooting of the family members of one particular lady. Of course, the boyfriend didn't want to get the money from half of the money from her. She had gotten from the stimulus check. But the thing is that what did happen is that there was a murder of four members of her family, including her mother. We talked about that particular one yesterday. But there has been so many ways in which people have been talking about spending the stimulus check. And I don't know how you intend to spend your stimulus check to expand your business or to invest it in some other thing. But nonetheless, I would just like to say, however way you spend your stimulus check, just make sure you're also spending it on the right businesses. If you're promoting businesses, or if you're planning to do something, please check on promoting our black businesses around, because at this particular time, if we do not support our own, even with the literal that might be coming, I do believe we all, we shall be facing the same challenges. Also, just globally, not even in the USA. We do need to support our Black businesses, even with the tech. I know it's not really that much, but nonetheless, I do believe when you're spending it, maybe try see if you can allocate some Black businesses. We did have with us a Sister Michelle of the BOB Reward Club showing us how to locate our Black businesses. I haven't seen her for a minute. I hope that she's doing well. But you can still find the BOBrewards.club, and you can also check out and make sure that you will be able to locate a Black businesses if you need to invest, or if you need to, support these businesses, or to do something and acquire something. Just check, make sure that you are doing that on all these platforms that are actually Black owned. Nonetheless, we do have some updates. Of course, I want to share with us what the family of the Black Acres have been doing. I know we haven't shared their updates, but you have hosted them some times back. And there are many things that are said about, anyone trying to relocate to the African continent. There will be so many things, some positive, some negative, but nonetheless, it's a good thing to just keep on reminding us that there are some good stories also coming from the Black Acres of the Gambia, and they have been doing their thing, and it's still encouraging to see that, there is a success stories being told around Africa of people who have actually just come out as expatriates, or even just coming to resettle or settle right here in Africa. This is in Senegal. Of course, Senegal is also facing its own challenges. There will not be an absolute heaven anywhere, but what will happen is that you need to try. That is, at the end of the day, you need to try and see what the opportunities are. And this is what it has been for the Black Acres of the Gambia, and just showing a little bit of their success in this country. And this is Rick and Cynthia. We have shared about them before. And maybe perhaps sometimes we might get really the opportunity to know a little bit more about their progress. But for now, I want to share this one of the videos, and this has been them really doing their thing and showing what the people have to say.
If you want to sell online, make sure you stand out. Go to Wix e-commerce.
She wanted to know.
Sorry about that. I think the audio is. Let me just share these.
She want to know what you saw.
Was that real? Was that real? What? You have a black magic too. What?
Black magic. Wow.
No, but this guy.
She want to know.
What was it that you saw?
She want to know what you saw, because if there's ghosts out here, we got to sell the land. We got to stop this. We don't like ghosts. So if you see ghosts, we got to stop.
What does it look like?
No ghosts?
Who was the people guy?
Just black magic.
He said he saw it, right?
This the man that see it? Oh, this guy look like Bob Marley. This guy look like.
You saw the spirits?
What is it? Tell us. You know, we from America. We don't. We don't know.
The thing was just like the explosion of the petal.
The explosion
Of the petal. Do you know?
the explosion of the petal.
Petal, the one they use of the
Like a firework?
Fireworks.
Like that, okay.
You know, by the time we go after you distribute.
Yeah.
But was it spirits?
I don't know. Those weren't fireworks.
No, but no, it was fireworks. Okay.
No, he said
the light is.
It was come like fireworks. It was
Yes,
like,
yes.
So
That's
did-
what he said. You go far.
Yeah.
After this mantle, you see the things go.
So did you hear voices like somebody say, "Hey, work faster, work faster"? You hear voices?
Yeah.
No, but did y'all hear voices last night? No? You just see the light, or did you hear voices? Did you hear talk?
You think it was our end?
That was a guy trying to describe maybe something that he witnessed, maybe in the company of his colleagues all alone. But nonetheless, I was just saying that the black kickers of the Gambia are out here doing some work, and you can see the construction is still going on. And I was just saying that even if they are doing the construction, you might still find some stories where people, people especially who are not doing anything, have all the time to go and throw stones at someone doing some work. So I really just like to applaud. They are doing some work and they are constructing, and I do believe at the end of this particular project, they will be able to be, also.
Well, what happened, Spikes? What happened?
No, these was just them having a conversation now with. No, they're continuing the construction. This was just a casual conversation they're having with this man who said that he saw some black magic. Around. He saw an explosion that looks like he saw an explosion.
Hold on. Where's this at?
This is the black kickers of the Gambia. This is the black kickers of the Gambia. They're continuing with their construction. When they are having a conversation, someone says they have experienced a black magic, and they are being asked to describe how the black magic was by that is Rick. That is Rick putting him to task to explain what he saw with his black magic, the supernatural thing that he saw. And his English is not so good, so he might not be able to explain as much as what he saw, but he knows he saw it.
Okay, so it was Rick Ad. So, action about supernatural stuff or something. And he asked him to explain.
Yes.
Is that what?
Yes, that is what.
Okay.
That is what he's trying to explain. But the whole point of sharing the video was that just to show the family that the construction is going on, and we do have our people putting some work on the ground. We might say, "Oh, Africa, Gambia is not as nice," or maybe say Ghana is nice, but they are people doing the work on the ground. We're losing you.
Years ago, that house, ain't it?
We can't really hear. I think there's a problem on your connectivity. I do not know how long it has taken them to already. I'm saying I'm not aware of how long it has taken them to start this. Yeah, it's on your end. It sounds like a robot. It's on your end, or maybe it's on mine. I was just saying that I don't know how long it has taken them to start constructing this particular project, but at the end of the day, I know that something that has already begun is much easier to complete than some that you always keep on talking about. And therefore, I would just like to applaud the black acres of the Gambia for the work that they are doing. Of course, there are many challenges, like you said, especially with people who are not doing anything with themselves. You will find people saying, "Oh, you should have done this, or they should do that, or they should pay people like this, or they should do these other things like that." For people who are not doing anything, for people who have not been involved in construction projects like this, for them, they are talking they are walking the talk, and they are doing the construction. I believe at the end of the day, they will be able to do much more. But this is for the small. I do not know how long it has taken them, and also do not know really the full details, maybe the other backstories, but for them to see that they are doing the construction is a good thing, employing a little bit of the young men in the Gambia, and also continuing to to enjoy and have fun as they are doing it right here with the black.
Made them down.
So many.
Yeah, even if divide, it goes
Wow.
Hope it wasn't fireworks.
I hope we get to see you one day.
Yeah, I hope so. We just got to stay out here one night then. Again.
Raheem said it went to the river.
Yeah.
It did go to the river.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spirits out there.
Wow, okay.
Okay.
But you buy land, I don't have land. But you have to explain the man what it is.
What it is.
What is his ancestors? He has a spirit.
So-
No doubt about it.
So did he say the people we bought the land from, we got to ask them what that is?
Yeah, they didn't tell us.
Yeah,
That
So
he
the-
said,
what the history of this place is.
it's nothing bad.
So wait a minute.
It's
This,
nothing bad, but you see things which you know that they will not go to harm you. You can see things. You know that when you explain to some people, they will be crying.
so we have to go to the owners and ask them what is going on with this land. If it's some
He said
spirit.
it's a spiritual place here.
Right, but we don't know the history.
Yeah.
We have to go to the owners and say, what is the history behind this place?
It's not a bad thing. What I'm telling you,
Because you're scaring me. Yeah.
What kind of thing? Spirit?
Yeah. You see, since before I go, this river can every 1 year time. You take people.
Wait a minute now.
And I think he was talking about the matter of the spirits of the ancestors and some of the things that are hidden. You know, sometimes we do know that in Africa, rivers have been used to conduct. Rivers have been used as a place for different rituals. You know, some of the rituals were conducted in big rivers, and of course, some of them maybe perhaps to appease the spirits, or some of them really to, you know, to invoke the spirit of the ancestors for some particular reason. But anyhow, that is another story for another day. I will not delve into the same. I was just saying that the Gambian family, the Acres of the Gambia, are really doing the most, and it's a good thing to see that they are progressing. Those are other different stories you might hear on in different places where people say, okay, there are spirits that are in this particular place. If you go and buy the land, you need to also address the matter of the spirits, maybe do this and that. But nonetheless, maybe perhaps the Acres of the Gambia might be able to discover what happens with the spirits of the ancestors near that particular river. I don't believe it's anything wrong, but anyhow, it depends also on the beliefs. You know, it also depends on the beliefs. But yes, the spirits of the ancestors are real. It's not a fable. It's not another funny story. It's real. Golden Heart, thank you so much. He's saying Rick is funny. Yes, he is. I thought that he took a resemblance to what do you call him? Steve. What do you call Steve? What do you call this comedian? Is he a comedian or an actor? Trying to remember the name of this particular one. Steve someone. Walk faster. Yeah, that is Steve Harvey. I was talking about Steve Harvey. I think Rick sort of resembles Steve Harvey, and even in the conversation, maybe I'm the only one that sees the resemblance. But that is what was happening. Yeah, you were breaking up, and that is what it was. And I also see Sister Nish Penda. Thank you so much. What is this general mosquito? Poltergeist. I don't know what that is. My English teacher never told me what poltergeist are. I don't know what that is. Princess D, thank you. I see you. You say now wash hands. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I hope that you're all doing fantastic. We are almost winding up. I think our kids' internet has been bad, but nonetheless, like I said today, I just wanted to say that nothing has to worry about. The matter of the transition taking place in Tanzania. Of course, I know and I feel that this was not a real natural death. There's some things happening with that particular one. It's not a natural death. I can tell you for the fact that this particular man was doing press-ups at his political campaigns, and therefore you're telling me he has been having heart problems. His campaigns were just the other day last year when he was moving around and doing his push-ups. And therefore, you can say maybe he had health conditions, and he hasn't. Even when he was last seen, even in his work duties, there wasn't any kind of report like that. People would have actually maybe known. Maybe he was knowing. These are ghosts. Okay, I didn't know what they are. Yes, ghosts. These are spirits of the ancestors. Yeah, you might call them ghosts, but they are there. They are existing, and especially there is a matter of land. I don't think they are there to mean harm or to cause people to haunt people. I don't think that is the whole point of. They are there. I don't think they will be haunting anyone. Mr. Rick and Cynthia are constructing their house. I don't think there will be any ghosts haunting them. But it's also important really to understand the background of where you're buying the land at. If it's near some of those rivers where there was the conducting of the rituals, there are some rituals that are conducted. It may be the rites of passage. Perhaps maybe some areas are even used as burial grounds. I'm not saying all areas are used as burial grounds, but I'm saying there are different purposes in which some different areas are used. The mountains were used sometimes for prayers. The rivers were used for these these other kinds of rituals. And maybe perhaps there might be some association with the ancestors in that particular area. And their spirits perhaps still abound there. And like I said, most of them do not really mean bad. I don't think there's anyone who will be haunted in that particular area. But that is another story for another day. A horror film. I do not have. I'm not one to watch a lot of horror films. I do not find myself interested in that. Maybe anyhow. And nonetheless, we are winding up, and this has been the Africa Today show on the Black Hot Fire Network. I really like to appreciate everyone that has been with us. Mr. LBN, I see you a little bit earlier on. We also do have a Golden Heart, Nishman, Ziman Kondo. We also did have a Big C's earlier on. Argelinas are on the show. Bombi Dampa all the way in Ethiopia. We understand that in Ethiopia, things have not really calmed down. Bombi Dampa, are you still in Ethiopia? If you're still watching, I would just like to know how are things on the ground. I understand the fighting in Tigray, the matter has not been resolved. And this is an area where we did have the regional government going into a fight or going into a battle with the federal government. And we all know the federal government went into Tigray region, and they were trying to fish out for these elements they understand were causing the attack on the federal government. But there has been civilian casualties, I understand. And if you're still with us, Mr. Bomidanfa, please do let us know. I would love to know how it's going down in Ethiopia. All people are still in dire need, because there has been the locking of some of the areas where we could have access, and people getting some humanitarian assistance in Ethiopia, because the roads have been closed, I understand, and they are impassable. And because of the fighting, some people are not able to access some assistance, maybe from the government or maybe even from NGOs. And that particular also issue need to be addressed either by the regional governments, and not really the regional governments, but by the governments in the region, Ethiopia, Kenya, Sudan, Eritrea, and also, of course, with the leadership of the Prime Minister, and helping people find a solution. Because at the end of the day, it's the civilians on the ground that do suffer, the people living in Tigray or the people living in the nearby areas where they are getting internally displaced. Others actually go to Sudan, others go into Eritrea. But nonetheless, we shall be giving you updates. I will check on that tomorrow. I'll be giving you some updates on the same. But like you said, we also do have some positive stories in Africa. At the end of the day, you might look for some positive black stories or black news, positive. Most of the time, you do not really happen to come across them, or if they are there, they are not put out there on the spotlight. Sometimes on the Black Hot Fire Network, we are hoping to be able to bring more about those positive stories across Africa, not just talking about the attacks, not just talking about the all these other areas where things are not going right. We also want to share the beauty of Africa and show you also what's good with the African continent right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. Like I said, I want to appreciate everyone that has been with us. Thank you so much, and everyone else that has been supporting the Black Hot Fire Network. We do truly value your support. It's not in vain. If you would like to support the Torch Tanzania, make sure you can be able to do so using Cash App, Mr. Black Hot Fire. You can also use the website. It's www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. Golden Heart. Sorry, General Musiru is saying she couldn't. You're not seeing where Golden Heart is at. She is right here in the chat. I'm not sure on what channel. We do have two channels. Maybe it's on. We are actually on both channels. Maybe it's on the smaller channel. We are also asking, if you haven't subscribed to our smaller channel, kindly make sure to do so. Sometimes we do have a problem with the notifications with this one, the Black Hot Fire Africa channel. But we are able to send out perhaps the notifications with the other channel. So if you are able to subscribe to both, please make sure to do so. We do have Keep News Some Live, and we also do have the Black Hot Fire Network as well, and a couple of other different backup channels. We shall be sharing them on the description box for the previous or for the recent videos, so that you can also be able to find out where we are actually streaming live from. We are hoping by the time we get to Tanzania, we shall be able to be back on the other larger platform, the bigger channel. But for the moment, please make sure to subscribe to this particular channel, and also click on the notifications. I understand that YouTube has some of the time you will not get the notifications. General Mosquito has brought that to attention, and the rest of the family. But nonetheless, please make sure you subscribe to both of them or the three of them. We do have the Black Hot Fire Network Pan Africa TV, the Keep News Some Live, and also on this particular platform. And here is the Golden Heart. Your General was looking for you. And thank you so much for joining us on the show and being part of the Black Hot Fire Network. For those who did have some reservations concerning the tour, I would like to reiterate the fact that Tanzania is really safe, and there will be a smooth transition. You will not hear of any people fighting or killing each other or anything like that. Tanzania is not like that, and that is why you would also ask yourself, why haven't we picked any other country to tour? Because we know that Tanzania has a heritage and has a history of actually being at peace. Even when things might be looking not particularly wonderful, you shall find that people are thinking in sobriety, and they are coming together. Even as a mourn the president, at the end of this particular one, we shall have a peaceful transition, and we shall also have a transfer of power, which is really the way it's supposed to be. So I don't see any cause for alarm. I do believe that I shall be on a full time. Zanzibar is still open for us to go, and also Dar es Salaam is still open. Dar es Salaam is not the capital city. I used to think that Dar es Salaam is the capital city when I was young. I always thought that Dar es Salaam is the capital, but Dodoma is. But nonetheless, we shall be in Dar es Salaam, not Dodoma, and we shall also be in Zanzibar. So make sure you get ready for that if you haven't gotten ready yet, and if you had any doubts, I can give you my reassurance that that will be a wonderful time. You can bet on it, and we shall be going out there and showing what's good. Go Black to Africa is still there. He has been showing what's good. I don't think there is any negative report coming from Tanzania. Maybe perhaps he would have put some spotlight on it. We still have Go Black to Africa there among other different individuals. We also do have a traveling sister. She is there among other different individuals who haven't seen any reports of things not going really right. I haven't seen them. What is happening is that there is the other backup, is the other channel backup. Yeah, it is. No, it is not yet backup. It shall be back around the 2nd of April, around the 2nd of April, so we shall still have it. But for the moment, we are using these particular platforms, and we hope that you can be able to find us on these particular ones. I hope Kid will be back on later on. Also, over this weekend, I will just like to remind us, we do have the Swahili classes over the weekend, and we also do have the Mr. X Sports Show. Make sure to keep checking that out and also showing Mr. X some love and support on the same. We appreciate you. We never take your company for granted. We know that there are so many other channels doing their content and also doing our information, but you have chosen and prefer to use or to be here on the Black Hot Fire Network. I always keep on saying information has to be sought. At the end of the day, you have to seek the information. Information will not come seeking for you. It's upon us really to go out there and search for the information, and we have been trying right here on the Black Hot Fire Network to bring in information as it is, and as reliable and factual as it is. We also do understand that it's important with in the age of in this digital age, ignorance is really, you cannot blame anyone for ignorance. I believe in this digital age we are more exposed to more information, which is really factual, and maybe perhaps we also do have the resources to be able to research some of the information that is shared on any platform, either on the Black Hot Fire Network or on other different platforms that you are on. It's important that you keep your mind sharp with whatever is happening and being aware of whatever is going on in the world, and not to get caught up in a bubble, not knowing what is going on. It's just a good thing that you are on the Black Hot Fire Network, and we have been instrumental in terms of sharing information and creating a collective African consciousness, and also inspiring African unity. We are winding up. But we hope to see you tomorrow. I hope Kid will be back later on. I'm not really sure, but if his connectivity allows. But we hope to see you tomorrow right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm subscribing channels. I'm getting confused. Let me tell you something. Some of those channels were created a long time ago. They are not really active. So we shall be doing this. We shall share on the network website the only 3 channels that are active, with the only 3 channels that are active. The rest are kindly just ignore the other channels. We shall be sharing with us on the network website the 3 channels that are right now active. Like I said, this one is active. And also we do have the Kid News Live. It's also active. And we shall also be using the other Kid News channel once it's back up. But for now, I believe you can just subscribe to these 2, and you shall be finding the notifications kindly. Do not get confused. Make sure to check out the website, and you'll be seeing where to find us every other time that perhaps we encounter censorship or encounter some of the challenges. Much peace and love to everyone. I'm wishing you a happy and productive day ahead. In whatever your endeavors, make sure to approach them with optimism and positivity. I do believe that what you put your focus on, that is where your energy will be flowing. And therefore, I would just like to urge us to focus on positivity. Not with every other negative thing that is going on in the world. Just put your mind on our own positivity, because that is a higher vibration than fear. If you focus on our positivity, and of course in your pursuit of happiness, you will actually be vibrating at a higher level. Make sure also to sun gaze when you get the opportunity, and also some opportunity also really to get a book or two. Once you are able to just get a book or two, some point shall be sharing some of the books that are really important. The God Carol, thank you so much. He has been doing a wonderful job. I always do see on the Transatlantic Productions, they have actually been sharing books every other day, and that's a good thing, because if you check out Transatlantic Productions, they have books, so many books that you can also get to check out and read for yourself if you are into that, and I'll just get to sharpen your mind and also enlighten those around you. Till next time, much peace and love. I want to wish everyone a happy and productive day. I'm on this channel by myself. I think you are on the other one. I think you are on Keith Newsome Live. You probably on yourself, but family, please make sure to subscribe to the other one, Keith Newsome Live as well. Till next time, I want to wish you a happy and productive day. Like you said ahead, it has been wonderful just having you on the show. Sister Monique Hill, thank you so much. All the love. And of course, all the way from California, and also Golden Heart and Zero Mosquito, and everyone else that was with us. It's really wonderful just connecting with the family, and it's a delight. Also, thanks to Keith for giving us this platform. He's doing really wonderful, and thank you for the support that you have also given Keith on all these different platforms. It's really wonderful, and it's encouraging to see that there are people also who are out there for the information, also the people who are there for for the collective African consciousness, and also building us as a people. Until next time, Waheri.